The music.
Ain't that something? Look at that. Look who is in the his house.
JumpOutGirls, Tima.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible.
Hello, hello. I'm so
How's it
happy
going,
to be
Tima?
here.
We're happy to have you. It's an
Thank
incredible,
you.
incredible one.
Thank you so much.
Well, let's jump right into this thing here. Stack Nation, okay? The only champions of the world. If you observe to this side of the screen, you will notice that we have one of two, and the one and only Miss Tima with the Jump Out Girls.
Hello, hello. Yes,
This
one
is
of two.
incredible.
Just one of two today. Usually
Thank you
two of
for.
two, but one of two today.
Hey, listen, I feel like we had a certain idea. Y'all's idea was on the same wavelength as ours, man. They
Yes,
say two is better than one.
it is.
As a unit,
Yes,
It
sir.
you
is.
can hammer down the. I was going to say I cannot think of a wall. I thought about Great Wall of China or the Berlin Wall. Which wall are we hammering down today? The wall of Fiat is the one that we're hammering down.
That is what they
Okay.
do over at JumpOutGirl, by the way. They
Where?
jump out of fiat
Yeah,
into
We jump.
Bitcoin.
exactly.
Exactly.
Okay. Out
Exactly.
of Fiat into Bitcoin. Well, with no further ado, okay, Miss Tima, please tell the people, okay, tell us a little bit about Jump Out Girls,
Okay.
what you guys are on about, and yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it after that, and this goes wherever it goes.
Hey, I'm loving all these key words, all the jump, 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 jump. Like we're just
Ah,
jumping into it. We're jumping out of fiat. So yes, I love, first of all, thank you for having me on the show today.
absolutely.
Appreciate it. We've been trying to do this for a long time. So thank you very much. I'm very fond of your work. I'm very fond of the consistency. I'm very fond of you guys and the platform and just all the knowledge and information you're bringing to the Bitcoin space. So thank you. Um,
Appreciate it.
yeah, but without further ado, so I'm Tima. I'm one half of the Jump Out Girls. So basically, we're two cousins who jumped out of traditional finance, kind of mostly during the heart of the beginning of the pandemic. We started learning about non-traditional information,
Right.
and that happened also to be Bitcoin. Um, I personally actually heard about Bitcoin earlier. So I heard about it in 2016, 2017 timeframe and didn't know anything about it. Probably wasn't even pronouncing it correctly. Um,
What did you
Just don't call it Bitcoin. We just did a video about it.
did you call it? How did you call it? Bitcoin? Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
No, but I hadn't read any books. I hadn't done
Right.
any research. I don't even think I had read the white paper at that point. So what happened is, as a family and as a group, we started to do more research and understand it more, and it just kind of took over because, as you guys know, like once you start learning about Bitcoin and you understand what it truly means, and you don't care about price, and you can
Hmm.
see what it does for the world. Um, the price doesn't matter. And then it kind of like engulfs you. And then you just start reading all types of books. Well, I did. We started reading Creature from Jekyll
Yeah.
Island. We started reading
Yeah.
Big Black
They will
America.
say they will say once you jump in, you can't jump out.
Yes, yes. Like
Yes. It's like
it's
you
kind of like I
cannot
saying,
unsee it.
once you go, you never go back, right?
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yeah.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. This is
Once you
why
Right.
we
come,
say Satoshi must have been black.
I think so. I think so. So yeah, so here we are now, and we've been learning more. We learn more about it every day.
Right.
We're still doing research. I still, I've taken on the habit now. I'm starting to read the white paper again,
Hmm.
just because like you can never learn enough about anything, and especially
mm,
with just like what's going on and like living in the moment. Like we're witnessing history right
yes,
now.
sir.
Thank you.
The
Yes,
pioneering ladies of Bitcoin. Jump
Man,
yes,
out,
listen,
girls.
we are
yes.
at the front lines
Yes.
of
So I
an
think it's
incredible
so
revolution.
important. Yes, because everything that's happening in the world, it's just like playing out to why this is needed and important.
Mm,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my
Man, that
goodness.
is That is so powerful. I really like what you said there about the fact that we are at the front lines. And it seems to me that ever since the lockdown, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, obviously there is a lot of theories as to why the lockdown was happening in the first place,
Correct.
whether it was IMF or BlackRock, but centralized entities, people
Yes.
who apparently should have full control of the system.
Correct.
But I don't think that they factored in Bitcoin.
No.
And I definitely think that they underestimated the intelligence of society as a whole.
Yeah.
Because if you notice during that lockdown period, especially, that's when we saw stuff like GameStop and all these various instances where the general public
People started
was
learning
clearly
about
standing out.
money,
Exactly, right? People
learning
start
about
learning about money.
investing and trading.
Then
Mm-hmm.
you start getting on, right? And then you get on X and you start to realize that, wait, there's way too many smart people on this earth.
Yes.
Biden cannot possibly be that president. You know what I mean? Right? And then you also start to realize that, wait, we can govern ourselves
Right.
if we are maintaining this type of level of communication that the globe is maintaining on X right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's so incredible. And I'm glad, and I hope that more people get to go through that same experience.
Yeah.
Because for me, it seems to me that once you have, like you were saying there, once you see, you cannot unsee it. Once you read it, you cannot unread it. But it's almost like your brain needs to click in. Like
Correct.
there has to be like that lightning bulb moment, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
crap, I get how Bitcoin is working now.
Yes.
And like you said, it just starts engulfing you, right? Because it just now starts applying to many different things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the video we did this morning, we were talking about how Bitcoin in electricity, in the electric
Hmm. Energy.
energy realm.
Yep.
Right.
You can talk about Bitcoin in the religious realm. You can
Yes.
talk about Bitcoin in just financial realm,
Bitcoin being a mother.
right?
With
So
food, being a mom.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it changes everything,
It literally does.
right?
And
How does it? How did it start clicking for you?
so I think what started clicking was after we, read the white paper and we started to read Creature from Jekyll Island, and then you started to see, so let's say that's around 2020, 2020, towards getting
Hmm.
towards 2021. And then you see, because again, growing up, you're not paying attention to how countries are collapsing. You're not
Mm-hmm.
paying to like attention to like how could these countries that were once thriving or once successful now be, some of the poorest places and, have no money and owe the government this and, borrowing money here and there. But then you realize that, oh wow, this is part of the system. This is
Mm.
Right.
this is what they do. And then you see
Yes.
it starting to happen here. So then the word CBDC started floating around,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they started giving the stimulus, or before they started giving the stimulus, right? And it's
Mm.
like, oh my God, they're going to collapse us as well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're already in a collapsing period, in my opinion, right?
Mm.
Some
Mm-hmm.
might
Mm-hmm.
think that we aren't, but to me, and then what really clicked was when I realized a dollar isn't worth a dollar,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, what?
Yep. And you change your time with your family for
Yes,
that thing that is not even worth anything, which
Yeah.
not
is so
even
unfortunate.
worth it. Not
It's a
even worth
fading
it.
stable coin.
Yes. And what really clicked was when you realize that, okay, you're paying these taxes, you're doing this to fund something that they collapsed, that
Yeah.
they purposely say, okay, hey, go collapse this country, the
Mm-hmm.
IMF, whoever you want to say, whatever, big three, because
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
only,
In other words, yeah.
it's a small group of people who do it, but they're all participating.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, wow, this is a terrible system. So once I realized like how the system worked, and I'm still learning it. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
We all are.
But then once you kind of see how all those pieces of the puzzle worked, you're like, oh, this is why people are so like, because we don't really say we're Bitcoin maxis because I still respect people who, however you earn your living is how you earn your living.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a trader, if you're a degen, that's on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I understood clearly why people were so like, Bitcoin is the way,
Mm.
just because you can see literally around you, literally how you're earning money, literally where your money's going to,
Mm.
Yeah.
what it's truly doing. And it's like,
Yep.
wow,
First time ever. First time ever.
yes, yes. So, yeah,
Mm.
so it was, I still have aha moments. I still have different clicks. I still have like awakenings with this, in this period of Bitcoin and just this whole, I hate to use the word woke, but I have this, awakening of, oh my God, like, oh, that's, like, especially with this whole Ukraine and everything that's going on. Like, it's like we can play it out ourselves. You
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
all
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, we know what this is doing, what this is going to do, and for the
Mm-hmm.
end result, right? I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
do that 5 years ago. I couldn't do that 10 years ago.
Especially if you're listening to mass media and you're not doing your own reading.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And especially if you listen to mass media, because most mass media is telling you the opposite. Most mass media is telling you which they want you to be programmed to believe and listen to,
Think.
Hmm.
Yep.
And I just think that it's too many examples that have happened in the last, let's just say 4 years, that shouldn't tell you, even if you're not a pro Bitcoin, should tell you that the fiat system is really messed up. Really
So
messed
everything you just said there is exactly. It's. I mean, it's absolutely spot on. And everything that is happening right now,
up. Mhm.
to put it very simply, it is screwing all of us over,
All of us.
right? Because it
Mhm.
does not matter who you are. I know some people might be like, "Oh well, I'm rich. I don't care." It's really stupid if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that you get rich by wasting money,
No.
No.
right? And
No.
so, if you have obtained wealth, I will hope that your brain is still functioning to say, I don't want people to be taking the wealth for no reason, because that's what some people say. I don't care.
Yeah,
I
of
have
course.
all the money. I don't need a Bitcoin. But
But
it's,
but you obtain the wealth and your goal is to preserve it,
yes,
but it's been sucked out of you.
Yeah.
exactly. And that
Yeah.
is where now your principles as a person has been
Mhm.
manipulated. Your
Mhm.
understanding of value has been manipulated.
Mhm.
And they're doing this in broad daylight, because unless someone is living in Mars, everybody's getting slapped by inflation right now. Interest rates is wrecking everyone right now. All of that good stuff. Yet, okay, when you're trying to talk to people about Bitcoin, like for us, for example, we have some Bitcoin courses. We try to
Right.
bring in people and teach them about Bitcoin. It's
Mhm.
not because this is information that people cannot find somewhere, but it's the
Right.
fact that we
Right.
have to be paid for our time, period. And then we try to fast track you in the process to understanding this thing, hopefully.
Right.
But why, from your perspective,
Mhm.
why do you think that people are, society right now, especially like here in America, everyone can clearly see that we're being stolen from, we're being robbed, we're being disrespected in the process of that robbery, because the economy is going to shit. Like you said, you
Yeah.
think the dollar is no longer, I think at this point in time, we can say that the dollar is no longer the world reserve
Dude, man,
currency.
try buying baby food for your baby.
Okay.
See how much it costs.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So it's like the dollar is fading.
Yeah.
And China is already doing trades outside of the dollar. Russia is
Mhm.
already doing trades outside of the dollar. Brazil, Ethiopia, all of these countries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we have leaders that are sitting over here acting like everything is fine and trying to, I mean, like you said, the media, straight up propaganda. So it's
Yeah.
like we are at the peak of absolute garbage
And
at
you
this point.
and you're getting distracted by LGBTQ plus
Yeah,
unnecessary drama.
exactly. Right. So,
Yeah, there's so
but
many distractions.
yeah, lots of distractions there. Um, But why do you think that yet it is still difficult to try to get people to understand Bitcoin? It's almost like you're it's almost like you have to beg people to
Yeah.
save
It's like
them.
crawling
Yeah.
up a slippery wall.
Yeah.
Right.
From
Literally.
from
And
from your
and
perspective,
you're
like talking
going
to
up that
people all the
slippery,
time. Go ahead.
yeah, you're going up that slippery wall and you have oil on your body. You know,
Yeah.
like
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
um,
Imagination
Yeah. So
playing tricks on you.
why do you think people still don't get it? Because people keep
yeah,
acting like it is like, you sometimes talk to people about Bitcoin, you're like, oh, it's a scam. I lost money in Bitcoin before, things like that. From your, I'm sure you talk to a lot of people about
yeah,
Bitcoin. What is your
yeah,
perspective? Why do you think they
yeah.
don't get it?
I think the first problem is, and the first issue is, it's hard for people, despite all the examples and
Hmm.
despite all the situations that are occurring and all the different distractions, because it's so many different distractions. I think the problem is that most people do not believe that they have been lied to and that the government has lied to them or that they've been tricked. Most people, most
Mm.
people. I think that the problem is that people, when you talk about Bitcoin,
Hmm.
what's happened is also too is that there's been this stigmatism associated with it, that it's a scam, that it's going to go to zero, that it's associated with, illegal, dark web activity. But it's
Yes.
like when I hear that, I said, what's the difference? Even if there were at a time, and there still is, there's still people who are doing shady things with both, right?
I mean, they've been doing shitty things with fiat from the get-go before
That's the
Bitcoin even showed up here.
the point
You
I
know?
make. That's the
Yeah.
point I make. And that's what I say. I say, okay, well, you talk about inflation, you talk about how your dollar isn't worth anything. What's the difference between that and what you're saying about Bitcoin? So I think the reason why people haven't jumped on it, even though there's been so many large companies that have invested into it lately, right?
Hmm.
Fidelity, BlackRock, even though we don't like the ETF scenario, it's still, that's major, right?
Hmm.
Yes.
I think it's the fear of the unknown, and the fear that you've been programmed to think that it's not supported by anything. But the dollar isn't. What is a dollar supported
Mm.
by? Nothing. Zero.
The part that is not supported by anything, that's the part that I would like us to dig a little bit deep into. Because there used to be a friend of mine, I used to be because he was an old associate business partner. He always told me, who is the system? What is the system? And I told him, there is a system. For you to be brainwashed, for the propaganda to be pushed, for you not to know what money is,
Hmm.
it's not just by design, it's not nature. There is a system specifically doing that to you and everyone else.
Yes. Yes. And also too, it's like they want to know who the CEO is. They want to know who's running it, right?
Yes.
Because the way that the systems have been set up is, you have a head person, you have the person who runs everything, and then it's distributed, right? So it's like, you hear this word systematic, it's a systematic idea that you have to have somebody over something, right? There
Yes.
has to be a head person. Even when you think about it from a religion standpoint, like you think about,
Hmm.
okay, there's God and then there's
Hmm.
people, right? It's
Hmm.
really hard for people to understand that you are in control of this. And most people don't want to be in control of their own
Themselves.
thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Most people don't,
Yes.
because when you
But they
become
got them in the mind though. They
That
don't want to be.
most
correct.
people, yeah, most people don't want to be. But I think that this is actually where this is so good.
This is
This is so
going
good.
places
Hang
now.
on, hang on a minute. Because
Woo-wee.
here's a couple things. Like there's a couple ideas I want us to hold on to. One is this idea. First of all, we have been lied to about money, right?
Hmm.
For sure. There's the lies, and then there is the fact that you know um, people are expecting, people are waiting for, people are expecting something greater to
Hmm.
come through.
Hmm.
Okay, leadership, if you will.
Like the Israelites.
Yes. So people are waiting for leadership. And now I also want to add something else there, trust. People
Yeah.
don't
Trust
have
themselves.
trust, but they don't trust themselves.
They don't trust the entities, but they don't even trust themselves.
No.
Yeah.
So they they initially trusted the entities.
Yeah.
The fact that they are expecting leadership, like how, you from the moment you go to school, the teacher is
Hmm.
the leader,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
right? And that carries on throughout the rest of your life. There's always going to be someone who has to be leading it, and then they have to say, yes, go and do this and go and do that. Okay, but that is not to say that that is the only thing that is molding this mindset. Okay,
Mm.
so they're
Ooh,
waiting for a leader.
Yeah.
that could
This
be Africa's problem right there too. Because remember, we're all coached to always look to a leader all
yes,
our
Always.
lives.
it is the same thing with Africans where they're like, okay, yes, we need the West, let the Americans. If the Americans did it, then it is legit. You know what I mean? Okay,
They want to be so American so bad.
exactly. And
Not
then
knowing.
and I think that it is the same thing that you see with single women who are waiting for this guy, right?
They're
And
waiting
they're
for
like,
their
yes,
the prince or whatever you
yes,
the frog.
exactly, right.
Hey man,
They
come on,
say,
man. They all watched Cinderella growing up.
Yes.
I understand, but exactly that goes to the point, right? And now you're sitting there waiting for these standards that you're making up in your head that
Mm,
nobody really knows if it exists.
mm.
So now you find yourself waiting your whole life. Is it going to be now? Am I going to meet him here? Is it this guy? Next thing you know, you're 40. What is unforgivable there is the fact that your time has gone. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Meanwhile, you could have just trusted yourself, taken a leap of faith,
Hmm.
Jump into it.
jump
Oh,
into
I
it.
like your name, guys.
Okay.
You
Exactly.
guys
Yeah,
got
that's the
that name,
catchy
man.
one. Okay.
Jump out.
You could jump out there and be with someone that is not all these imaginary things that you're imagining, right? To get there. Same way Africa could jump out there, like you see Burkina Faso right now,
Hmm. Mali,
realigning themselves,
Niger.
right?
Yeah.
That is the aspect that I think that most people have lost. The
Hmm.
ability to trust yourself.
Yeah.
To store your
Yeah.
To
own value.
yes, to
Yeah.
bet on yourself
Make
every
your own
time.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To go out there and do the research and do the readings to find out
exactly.
about money yourself.
Exactly,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm glad that we all agree on that.
Mm.
So human beings are fully capable of those things. We know that we've been lied to.
Hmm.
Hmm.
In fact, right now we know we're living through the lie.
Hmm.
But
But
this is
what?
where it becomes interesting.
Tell us more.
Why is it then that some people get to a point where there's a split, there's a clear split in the road, and this is where that split is at? Like for yourself, Tima, during the lockdowns,
Hmm.
you decided that you're going to look at this Bitcoin thing,
Hmm.
and you looked at it until it clicked in your head,
Hmm.
and then you kept going.
Hmm.
Anyone can do that,
Could have done
Anybody.
that.
right?
As a matter of
Anybody.
fact,
But they are not,
mm.
right? We did it.
Actually, we did a video about this. We said some folks are going to come out of this lockdown
Yeah.
being so different, acquiring a
Yes.
lot more knowledge.
Absolutely. Yeah, we
Why
did
some
say.
people will have been destroyed in the whole process.
Yeah, we did say that. We said if you come out of the lockdowns and you're not better than before, or if you come out from the lockdown the same, then yeah, something
It's on
is wrong
you.
with you. That's on you.
Yes.
Okay,
That's exactly, that's a controversial statement to say because that's exactly how we felt.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
if you can come out of a situation where you had a lot of opportunity to just study and research,
Mhm.
and you came out the situation and you're still in the same mindset or same physical, financial, emotional, mental
Yeah.
standpoint that you were before, it's
Yeah. I got to check yourself, right?
yeah.
So now, this is now goes now back to the question that something that I say on the show all the time, and I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure
I
someone
see
is
it
going to
coming.
come to cancel me one day, and I'm waiting for them. So I'm just trying to get in as much of it as I can, so that when they
Okay.
come to cancel me, it will really be worth it.
It's putting his foot on the
Yeah, because
on the pedal.
if I said it only one time and then wanted to come cancel me for just saying it one time, I would slap the ever living crap out of everyone who is trying to cancel me. But so now I say then, for some reason, right, our minds, whether it's just that we're more inquisitive people or whatever the case may be, but you find that the range of people that are going out of their way to get into Bitcoin or understanding Bitcoin, it ranges across all spectrums of life, right?
Hmm.
Do you think that it is just laziness?
Gang, gang.
Okay, this is the question. Do you think that it's just laziness? People just being lazy, not wanting to learn something new, not want to push their boundaries, feeling comfortable. Comfort is dead, right? Feeling comfortable.
Dying in the comfort zone.
Yes, yes, right. Feeling comfortable with where they are, so they've adapted, and so now they're just like, oh well, this is fiat system. We're just gonna keep going, but we cannot do anything about it. There's nothing you can do. The government knows everything, so they even go out of their way to um, put up points on the opponent's board
Hmm.
Hmm.
instead of theirs,
This is why gold is better.
right? And
Yeah.
I have referred to it as outright laziness, whether it's intellectual laziness, spiritual laziness,
Ooh,
mental laziness,
you've
Yep.
been attacked by
physical
the devil.
laziness. Yes,
It's the devil's fault, yo. It's the devil's fault.
but that's yeah, that's what I call it. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think, I think that one, we're all going to get canceled because it's a combination of laziness and it's
Mhm.
a combination of fear, right? So
Mm-mm.
they're lazy because
Mm,
they think they won't understand it. They're lazy because they fear the idea of learning something new, right? I think that people in general, especially with what the purpose of what, in my opinion, the lockdowns did, it made
yeah,
people feel more lazier, right?
More
It made people,
fearful.
right. It made people feel fearful and lazier, right? Just
yeah,
because now, I mean, you can literally not, you don't have to leave your house at this point,
Oh
right?
yeah.
yeah.
So if the system's already set up where things are already automated for you, why would you want to learn something new that you now have to control and you are your own bank? You are in control of this. They don't want to do that, right? I mean, that's why I said Bitcoin, like I can talk to you guys for the whole day about this just because it's like it gets so much deeper than just the fiat part,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Because then you realize that like that's why in America, obesity is so large. That's why
Hmm.
mental illness is so large. It's not
Mm.
because people are just mentally ill or just purposely fat. It's because people don't understand how they've automated everything so that way you become these things, right? Like,
Thank you. Yeah.
like, and granted, there are outliers to everything. Trust me, there are outliers to everything. Do you have a percentage of the population that some people are born or maybe have some type of depressive chemical imbalance?
Mm.
Yes, you do. I think a small percentage. Do you have some people who may suffer from some type of, I don't know, chemical imbalance where it comes to their body structure, and they may have a incurable disease where they have to take a pill that makes them fat. Yeah,
Some
and
of
Yeah,
them are some.
but
Some
but
of
we're
them.
not we're not we're not speaking to those people. We're not
yeah,
attacking those people,
No, we're
that's
right?
not.
a very small percentage. I'm
Yeah.
talking about majority of people are lazy and fearful because they don't realize how it's been taught to them to be that way. It's been programmed to be that way. I mean, just go watch, if you watch local news.
So that was it TED Talk that I
Mm.
watched a while back,
Uh-huh.
and it said that human beings by nature, right? So let's say we went back to many years ago before we had fire, right? And let's say human beings were around the same time dinosaurs were around. I don't know those facts. I was not around, right?
Correct. Hmm.
By design, we are actually designed to protect and seek safety
Mhm.
Yes.
for us to be able to live longer.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
But you know what's funny? The human beings that actually survived, or the group of humans that survived the longest, which were the ones on the African continent, the initial ones, had to come out of those caves.
Yes.
You have to
Yes.
overcome that fear
Mhm.
to
Yes.
go and fetch for food. Not
Yes.
only fetch for food, you eventually say, I'm not fetching for food, I'm going to go and build somewhere else.
Right.
Then you went
Right.
from just hunting and gathering to now farming.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so interesting how Bitcoin just touches all of this.
It
You
touches, that's
expanded
what I
your
mean. It touches
possibilities.
so many realms.
Oh, dude, think about this. It expands your possibilities. That's the same thing you just explained there, going out of the cave,
Hmm.
and then now you've now added farming
Hmm.
to the arsenal of survivor tools.
Hmm.
If you look at right now, anyone that is not been included in the traditional financial system,
Hmm.
when they go out into Bitcoin,
Hmm.
they suddenly increase the possibilities of who they can trade with globally.
Yep.
Boom. You're no
Yep.
longer stuck within borders, within some governmental restrictions. Now
Yep.
you can reach an
Yeah.
entire globe that you don't even have to be physically
Yes.
and still transact
Yes.
without limitations.
Yes.
Come on.
And just like with what's happening with BRICS and all these different countries that are joining it,
Mhm.
like you can go into, I know, I'm not sure about how it is in Cameroon, but I know that in, Ghana and Nigeria, you don't even need the internet. I mean, like even here, you don't need
Yeah,
the internet
Machankura.
to transact with Bitcoin, right?
Mm.
and where you have countries where even where power is an issue,
Mhm.
where it's not the same backup generators like we have here in America, right? Like
Hmm.
it's the possibility of being able to do something without the middle man. That's the key. Because if
Yeah.
the bank shut down and you lose your ATM card, you have to wait until Monday through Friday, or you have to, if you want to
Nine
go
to
get
five
9 to
only.
5,
Yeah.
to go into the bank to get your cash. You
And guess
don't.
what? Within that 9 to 5, you are at the office working.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you manage to make it there during your break time, you cannot withdraw more than 10K because you
See,
gotta prove that is
and
your
then
money.
they need to know why you're withdrawing that much.
It's your money.
Yeah.
Anything
You worked for it.
anything over 5, they want to know why.
And and and
Yeah.
and for business, that could be very detrimental, especially on the African continent, where your transaction with your neighboring
Mm,
country,
Yeah.
maybe
yeah.
it's even the same company, or your neighboring states,
Yep.
has to go. That transaction has to go all the way to Europe
Yes.
because you're using the Swift
Mhm.
system.
Mhm.
Yes.
Wait for that transaction to be verified before it
Yes.
comes back there. You've wasted 3 days of important business transaction just for
Yes.
you to verify a ledger.
A ledger.
Yeah.
You
That's
know.
yeah. It's really insane because it's like freedom is sitting right there,
Yeah.
and all people just need to do is just read a little bit, and then you can just grab the freedom. But they will not. It seems that this fear and laziness is standing in. I mean, people are standing in their own way
Hmm.
to freedom because of the fear and laziness within
Mhm.
themselves.
This is
Mhm.
why people need to jump out girls so that they
They
can
need
jump out of that laziness and that
Absolutely.
fear.
Absolutely, absolutely incredible. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not yet, please respect yourself. Go over to X.
Don't be lazy. Be a champion.
Don't be
You can
lazy.
find us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're there.
Absolutely. Oh, wait, were you guys? You guys on X? I know you guys on YouTube for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, we're
Instagram,
on.
Instagram as well, and the handle is the same everywhere, right?
jump out
It's the
girls.
same everywhere, 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 everywhere.
And they're
Hey,
nice.
listen, man, I like it. I like it. Incredible stuff. Let's switch gears here.
Okay.
Double O, you were talking about Bitcoin for mothers.
Yes.
Yes, I want to
Mhm.
hear more about this. Go for it.
Well, as a father, let me
Yeah,
not change the topic.
as a father.
As a father of two,
Okay.
I know it's tough. And I was not the one that batted those kids, even though I happened to be the one that actually was the delivery
Oh
of one of
yeah,
my
you
kids.
delivered your second
I
Hold
child.
on,
delivered
you
a second child by
delivered one
myself.
for me?
Yeah,
Yeah, really. The
yeah,
system disappointed us.
yeah. They
So I had to
create.
do the whole delivery my daggone self.
Wait,
Did you?
you could not make it to the hospital?
Oh, they told
Oh,
us to come at this time. We'll come in. No, don't come yet. Come at this time. Like, no, looks like the baby is coming. We do not have any space for you right now. Wait till this time. We're like, what the hell?
What?
We didn't make it out the house.
so you just then went ahead and just
The baby was coming. I gotta take action, man.
Hey,
incredible.
I'm a home. I had my baby at home, so
Yeah,
Oh, you did?
I
Awesome.
purposely had my baby at home, so I get it.
yeah. It
Yeah,
was tough. It was
definitely.
scary, but we made that happen.
To natural babies. Carry on.
Yeah. So like, it's very, very hard parenting. It takes energy. It takes time, but
Hmm.
we're our this Bitcoin just goes everywhere.
Hmm.
Our job as parents, specifically mothers, is to
Hmm.
now take this new generation
Hmm.
and enlighten them,
Hmm.
not just to now get them connected to the current system.
Hmm.
So, as a mother, which you guys do most of the work, I just come to just give others sometimes, unfortunately. Oh, just always try to push the kids on me and they're like, no, the lion is busy right now. Don't disturb me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go to your mother.
go to your mother. Tell us a little bit how you're planning this transition of
Yeah.
becoming a mother and
Yeah.
getting this knowledge of money and jumping your kids into this new era.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you know, I think what's happened is growing up, and I'm not sure how, what was pushed in your household, but in my household, it was like the traditional way of thinking about money in the world. right? Everything
Mhm.
was very traditional. You go to college, you get a good job, especially if you can get a government job. Like it was
Mhm.
these traditional thought processes here in America of what was key for your success, right? So now that I've become a mom and I'm now more aware and understanding Bitcoin, what's now key in the success of our child is being objective and understanding that there's different ways to deal with things. There's different ways to understand things. There's different ways to critically think about something, right?
Mhm.
So with having those key kind of foundations, it's easier to, in my opinion, to help her understand, hey, just because everybody else is thinking this way, there's nothing wrong with stepping outside of that box, right?
Mhm.
And understanding now that there's so many different resources and there's so many different, um, I would say, literature and also games, books, like they have so many things now for kids. So it's even easier to understand and explain Bitcoin for kids, right?
Yeah.
Because there's still a very small percentage of us that are in this space, right? And as our children grow and as they get older, I'm not going to say they're going to be outliers, but I think they will because
They will
there
be.
won't be, I think there's going to be mass adoption, but I think by the time there's mass adoption, it's going to be, you know, too late at that point, right? Like, not too late in the sense of for people to be involved with it, but too late in the sense of like our children will already know. They
Oh
will
yeah,
already
we
Yeah.
like especially in our community, we're always late to everything. We were late
exactly,
to the internet. We were late to the
Yeah.
dot
exactly,
com. We were late to like,
right,
come
They
on,
might
man,
they might
right,
not stand to benefit from it
correct,
maximum.
as much. They might not
Yeah.
right,
maximize the benefits
right,
from it like those
right.
of us who are obtaining it now.
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly
especially
what
considering it's something that is only 21 million and it will definitely come to a stop one
right,
day,
right,
which means that it will probably only get more difficult to buy it because if all of it is in
correct,
the hands of people
right.
and those
It's
people don't want to sell it because they have that ability to put it up as collateral,
yes,
why would you
yes.
sell it?
Right. It's going to be so scarce. That's the whole,
Yeah.
that's another key point of Bitcoin. But I think most importantly, as a mom now, it's so much more than just like, with this conversation that we're having now, too. It's like, it's so much more than just the fiat aspect of Bitcoin for the children. It's
Mhm.
more so understanding that this is a different way of lifestyle,
Hmm.
right? This is understanding that you have to go against the grain. You have to be strong in your foundation, strong in
Hmm.
your mind to understand that one, people are not going to understand that why you're in this. Why do you
Mhm.
even believe in that? Because again, they have to collapse the system. They're in the process of collapsing the system. So it's like most people are sheep. They're going to go with the way that they've been told. So in
Hmm.
Yeah.
order to go the different path, because being a part of Bitcoin, you have to go against the grain. You have to go against what society is telling you. You can't believe what you're seeing on TV. You can't believe what you're seeing in the media. You can't even believe what, prominent financial gurus are telling you. Warren Buffett,
So I was
all
about
these
to say
money,
that
Yeah.
you
Charlie
know,
Munger and crew.
right? So it's like for me as a mom now, it's just really getting this powerful because
Mm.
once you have this powerful, it's better to understand, hey, you don't have to go this way. You can go this way.
Can I
Um,
say? Can I say? Jump into your head.
jump into your head.
I gotta
Incredible.
keep.
We should count how many times we said the word jump. Uh, so yeah, so luckily, we have a strong family that understands Bitcoin, and it's more than one of us. It's I have my cousin, I have
Yeah.
our other cousins. Even my mom semi understands it, right? So it's just like being able to explain it, I think will be a lot easier for us. And not everybody's in that standpoint, but you still have to get this correct because once you step outside of your house and once you step outside of here,
Mhm.
you can't control that. You know what I
That is
mean?
true.
Right?
That is true. Yeah. I think I really find it so powerful, especially, one thing you said there was your family has an understanding of the Bitcoin. I think that that's something that is super, super, super important
Mm.
because as you start accumulating wealth, right? I think not necessarily immediately, but if you're trying to protect and grow your wealth over time, it's the next logical phase starts rolling into how do you protect it and transfer it
Mm-hmm.
onto your future generation, or
Mm-hmm.
make it useful for you and the people that you care about, right? Your
Mhm.
family
Right.
around you.
Right.
So it seems that in this process, right, just the same as with the traditional financial system, right? I remember there was one thing that I wrote about, when people are born into the banking system, into the system that we have right now,
Mm-hmm.
they literally come into the world, and the first thing that they find out when they find out about money is that you have to have a bank account and you have to pay for things online and things like that, which is fine.
You must be ID'd before you can make money, and they
Ex-
must know who you are,
exactly,
so they can tax you.
exactly.
As a
Came
matter
on.
of fact, you're in debt
Yeah,
because they borrowed on your existence before you even existed.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they come into this system not realizing that I strongly believe there's a massive group of people out there that do not even realize that you have that ability to hold your own value by yourself without a bank, right? And it seems like some people understand economics to have a bank in it. There is no bank in an economics book, especially if you're doing like straight up normal economics, Austrian economics, not the one that some people have.
Demand
You
and
know what I mean?
supply does not say you must go and store your supply inside the bank. It literally just
You
says
know,
exchanges.
we were talking about a group of people this morning that
Mm,
their thinking was very different.
mm.
I can see how they will come up with Chicago School of Economics other than Austrian economics, where you can expand. I will tell you who we're talking about after this, Tima. Is not a specific person, but it's just a group. We don't want to just say it now because,
Well,
you know,
we do not want to
as
get.
much as I don't give a shit, okay, today is not a day I want to die.
No, we don't want to die yet. We don't want to die
Yes, you know what I
yet.
mean?
You
I will
know?
strategically approach these people later on down the line after we have fortified our defenses. Okay. Anyhow, I think that it is so powerful what you're doing because now we have a new generation that is coming up. And the best chance that we can give ourselves is the ability for the young generation to be able to look at Bitcoin and understand it and use it and interact with it like it is as natural as anything that exists right now, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's the banking system and all this, the interest rates and the way the bank is configured and things like this. It seems to me that and along the lines of what you're saying there, it seems to me that by introducing the kids to Bitcoin, you give them back value and value that will carry them their whole life
Wow.
versus with the fiat system where you work and hold this money. First
Suck it
of all,
from
like
you.
you already mentioned, right? Before they even come in, there's a group of people who are claiming that they're already in debt to
Hmm.
taxes on something that they don't even know anything about it or how it works. But then you now protect them, you restore true value back to them, which is another thing that has been stolen from us because
Hmm.
you cannot say something is the most valuable when there is no way to limit it, right? You can print if you can print the thing
It ain't got value.
at will,
Yeah.
it's not valuable. If
Yeah.
even gold, if you say that yes, gold is valuable,
To a
but if you
to
can
an extent.
be digging it for years and centuries to come, it is not limited in supply. And then the idea now that you can take things and flip it upside down, right?
Mhm.
And say we don't even, I think that's cars.
Move the goalpost, man. You
Yeah,
gotta move the goalpost each time someone catches it.
exactly. Let's say cars and houses, right? Because the thing is, if you are rich, you're rich.
Hmm.
I think if you have $100 million and you have $1 billion,
Hmm.
there's no difference. Okay. And in fact, when you get to $1 billion, it seems that life is useless because what do you aspire for
No,
next?
I got an answer for that. You build a very big house where you only live in a tiny percentage of the
Yeah.
house.
But,
Yeah.
You buy a big yacht
Yeah. Yeah.
that you can take everywhere.
exactly. Exactly. But that demonstrates the wasteful outcomes of fiat. You see what I'm
Mindsets.
saying?
Yeah.
Yup.
Yeah.
Because to a certain extent, if you bought a yacht or a private jet, you can fly anywhere you want to with it. It's really not going to do anything for you or other people. That's just the reality.
Mm,
Your friends can look at you in the private yacht and say, "Oh yeah, this guy's in the yacht and
status.
stuff like that."
Ego.
But when they go to sleep at night, The private yacht does not do anything for them.
Nope.
You
Nope.
see, so it would be reasonable that yes, people who work hard should definitely get compensated for what they've built, the value that they have built, right?
Hmm.
And um, but for people who do not work hard, they should not be able to extort value out
From
of
everybody
society
else.
from everybody else who is trying to work hard for it, you know?
Right.
And so, despite all the things that people can buy and everything else like that, I think the most important thing is just being able to live a comfortable life where
Yeah.
you're not struggling. If you can buy food and you can have a place to stay, I think that the basics are covered, right? And you can pay for things and just live your life comfortably. I think that that covers the basics of living a normal life. And from there, I think that your mind has every
You can do a lot more.
yes, has all the resources
Yeah.
to take you to where you need to be, whether it's creativity or whatever the
For the
case might be.
community without extorting and destroying the environment.
Exactly.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
And so if you know that you have a true limited resource which you're holding with you, I think that you operate very differently from someone that is has unlimited resources because they know that they can brute force their way to getting it out of people through manipulation or whatever else.
Yes. Yes. And that's key because that's the mindset that we have, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's like when people found gold or people found um digging for or the terrible way that are diamonds and this whole industry, these things that are so precious and rare,
Hmm.
Precious metals.
precious metals and things like that. It's like that's how we look at what we have in terms of Bitcoin, right?
Hmm.
Here is something that is so scarce, so rare, such a one-time thing. It automatically makes you feel differently and look at things differently, and you have to operate differently, right?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Because do you think that people who found gold or who found precious metals when they first found them, obviously they didn't know what they had it in the beginning, but once it clicked and once they figured it out, they knew that they were sitting on literally
And they
Gold.
captured it.
Sitting on
gold
gold.
Yep.
mine,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like just to be able to be, like you have these different shifts in the history of in the history of people, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, we went from, trading different, everything, right?
Yeah.
From
Trade by
beads
batter,
to cloth,
pebbles, all of it. Yeah.
pebbles to different rocks,
Mm.
like
Hmm.
we went from trading all these different things to now we're in this phase of now we have Bitcoin. Now, also
Mm.
too, I also feel like we're in this phase, and this phase will last, for our children's children's children. But
Yeah.
there's going to be something again,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
there will be something again, just because it's just kind of like how history has played out. So now that we're in this phase, it's like you're in the beginning of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What do you
Damn,
operate?
we are really in the beginning of new money.
The
Talking of
beginning.
beginning, right?
Yeah.
The beginning. This is the beginning.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
no, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. That you operate differently. You have something so precious, and like you were saying, like in terms of just the next generation, like we hear this word. It's now kind of it doesn't irritate me, but it does. It doesn't irritate me, but I look at it differently. This whole generational wealth thing,
Mm.
Mm.
because generational wealth is now backed on the fiat system. That's the way
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
people, they
Hmm.
don't look at generational wealth from a Bitcoin standpoint.
Yeah. And everyone likes to use that word. I'm trying to
Every
find a different term.
Oh, I'm creating generational wealth. Really?
Yeah. Generational wealth is clapped out.
It's
I
canceled.
like that.
I need a different term. I
Hey,
definitely need a different term.
we're creating. We should say we're creating cold wallets.
Yep.
Mm.
You know.
Infinite superior. Don't worry, we'll use GPT.
Yeah, we up with that.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, somebody came up with something the other day. Ancestral intelligence versus artificial intelligence. I was like,
Oh,
Ancestral
there we go
intelligence.
again.
Ancestral.
I love it.
Ancestral intelligence.
Dang.
I feel like ancestral intelligence. Let me take a stab at it. Is well, is it? I think ancestral intelligence, it would be the intelligence of the past people, right?
of the past people.
And that would make sense because remember, my grandmother used to do things that was like,
Like you said, she will heal you in one day.
yeah, she was healing
Yeah.
everyone
Just going down the
with like,
streets.
yeah, she
Go
knew
out,
many
go
different leaves.
outside to the back,
Yeah.
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
backyard, and
Yep.
pull from the bush, pull from the
yeah,
tree,
Branches. Yep.
yeah,
pull from the land themselves. You know, my grandmother had a garden. My father, they were on farm. You
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
know, the foods were grown right there. Everything
Mm-hmm.
was there. You know,
Artificial
like
They did,
intelligence can't do that. I tell
absolutely.
you, it doesn't even have that knowledge. We have to give it that knowledge. But
yeah,
I don't know which side is on, but this is actually evidence of it. Is there a mark? There's a mark on my face
yeah, right
on
here.
one side.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was actually not. That's actually from my grandmother. They had this thing where they would cut your face.
yeah,
You know what the Muslims do, like the three cuts
yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever
Different
the
cultures,
reason it
so
is for. Yeah, but it was for some reason. But it's insane. Just how intelligent
they
they were
were.
back then,
Mm,
of what the things are in their environment could
mm,
do for them.
mm,
Yeah, I don't think that is just random try and I mean there was definitely some structure to how they did it. It
mm.
is very powerful.
yeah,
Which
But yeah,
goes
carry
back
on.
to this thing that we're talking about. You know, you're a mother, you're a woman. We're talking about creation. We're talking about beginning. We're talking about ancestral.
hmm
Did you know that for them to break the slave, there's a book called How to Break a Slave,
Mm,
right? There's the book that I spent a lot of time with my grandmother growing up, and how you can win and colonize the African. Did you know
hmm
that that was done mostly through women, not the
yeah.
men?
Through
Take
the
the men
children.
out of the system, unman them by
Yeah,
either beating and killing them right in front of the women,
yep,
or destroying their manhood right in front of the women, so that when the women now give birth to the new generation, which now goes to the creation
mm,
and the big role that why we need more black women, more people like you in the Bitcoin space, because women birth the new generation. You create the
correct,
future. We have
correct,
no future without you guys.
mm,
correct.
And we've been dealing with this trauma of fiat,
hmm
kind of like how they did to the slaves and how they did to the Africans, right? And then I've put the women. That is why a lot of Africans are so-called extreme Christians or extreme Islam.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
no, the reason why you're that way is because of they did that to you. It's a
Yes,
trauma that now
yes,
you've carried on through multiple generation.
yes.
And Bitcoin hits so much, man. It hits hard
yeah, it is
Right.
because I was
because
just what you just explained it. By the way, I was just gonna say, wait, what you just explained there, it sounds like it. It sounds like you could almost say they tore down the men in America by putting a lot of them in jail and then turning to their
exact same
women and
strategy.
providing them. Is the exact same
Yeah,
strategy, right?
exact same
It's the
strategy.
same.
Wow.
It's the same. You know, like in the 50s and the 60s, they took the man out the house,
Mm-hmm.
right? They made it so that women got more money with the
Mm-hmm.
man out in the house. So then you have a whole system and a whole generation of women who are like, oh, I can get more money without him being in the house. You know,
Section
I
8 did
Mm-hmm.
that. Child support system did that.
yep,
People were taking advantage, thinking that the government cared about them, not
yeah,
knowing that they were destroying the community.
And that has
yeah,
had a significant impact because if you look at it, when you look at the people who are screaming like strong independent woman, don't need no man, or necessarily it is women, and that has a serious impact,
Which is why we got to do the
yeah,
show about Bitcoin and
on
women,
society.
the
Yeah,
importance of
yeah.
Bitcoin, and yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Because the reason also what I do respect and like about the Bitcoin space, especially with women,
yeah.
is the majority of the women that I know in the space and like who are on bigger platforms and you know some of these larger groups,
Hmm.
they support the traditional dynamic of family,
Mm,
I've noticed that.
wife, children.
children, yeah.
Yeah, I've
Right?
noticed that.
I've like that's what I've noticed too as well. So it's kind of like
What was
I
it I was
like
telling? I cannot date a chick who does not get Bitcoin, man. I better start. No, I'm so dead serious. Like
Yeah, he told me that.
I'm willing to teach them if they don't know, but if they're not interested in learning it or don't pick it up, I'm sorry, can't do it.
I don't care how fine you are, how
Yeah,
much money you
not
get.
doing it.
Nope.
Yeah.
it doesn't right. No, that's true. And I think that's a key thing also too is just understanding getting back to those traditional values, those traditional roots, those traditional wherever you're from, it's still a traditional, hey, man, wife, children, or man, wife, whatever. You know, like even if you don't have children, man and wife, right?
Yeah.
Husband and wife, and
Ancestral intelligence, I tell you.
understanding those fundamentals. Exactly. But I think also too, when you think about the women in this space and women in general, what's being pushed now in society and what's being pushed in media is this independence. You know why? Because the independence is you don't need a man, you don't need children. So guess what? It's kind of like I don't know if you guys were familiar with the TV shows. It was called The Handmaid's Tale, where it's based
Mm-mm.
on a book, and I had to read the book in high school, right?
Mm.
Right.
And the book is just essentially about how, society goes to crap. People, women, there's a scarcity of people having babies. And
Yes.
like, what do you think? Why do you think they're pushing independence of women? Right? They don't want you to
So
have
that
it.
exactly, so that you can depend on them, and then once you depend on them, they make money off of you. So you're just a tool for them making
Yep.
more money.
You know
Yep.
what that sounds like? Independence is alone. Right?
Yes.
It sounds like divide and conquer.
Yep.
Mm,
If you're not
Yep.
working together, then
mm,
you divide and conquer. So
Exactly.
you take
independence.
the man out of the family, you take the
Yep.
black man out of the environment. You
Yes.
Kind of like what they did to Africa with the African countries' independence. They never really worked together. They
yes,
just
Yes.
yes.
separated them.
Why
You
Yes.
are
you
alone, so they can
yes.
Yes.
divide you and
Yes.
take your resources.
Yes. Was
Charlie,
Yes.
it not
man,
together before?
we were together before they come and split us up.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And then it's even like when when I've been to South Africa, I've been to west parts of West Africa, and I've been to parts of East Africa. And what was startling to me, what was like crazy for me to see, it was crazy for me to see, was the other people that were there successful. And it's the same thing that happens, like in most countries,
mhm,
but it's very prominent in Africa. You don't really see a lot of it happening. You do see it in Europe sometimes in
mhm,
certain areas, right? But I'm talking about the ability for a whole different group to come in and literally take over. You may
yeah.
not
Hmm.
see them face in the, like visually, but
Mhm,
who controls the banks? Who are the loans given to? Who gives the
mhm.
loans out? Right? So when I'm on a plane and I'm seeing Asian people on the plane, I'm like, what are they doing here? Not that
Yes.
people can't travel. I'm not saying I'm not
They
ignorant. No,
can. They can. The problem is that it is, they are trying to go to other areas and try to dominate those areas as well. Because I know right now my cousin went back home a while back, and when he came back, he was telling me, when they got there, they were walking around in the neighborhood and they came across some people from China, and these people were looking at them like, "What are you doing in our neighborhood?"
right,
Type of thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
in
Yeah,
Cameroon.
yeah. In our own homeland, you know. So it is things like that, and it is very
yeah,
obvious. This is why I think it is super super important for African nations to get on this Bitcoin thing, so that at the end of the day, we can always be like, hey, gather all of your people and leave,
right. We
right?
don't have to rely on these loans that are going to basically bankrupt us
Yeah,
from China or from different countries, France or wherever.
yeah,
It's the same thing here. It's and I think also too the problem with people here in America is they don't think, or they don't see how the same things that are happening in other countries are already happening here. They don't even
yes,
fathom. They don't think that, like, oh, no, 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 we're Americans. This
Uh,
isn't happening here. It's the exact same thing.
we got the NBA, the NFL, all the other good stuff to keep us distracted. We having
Yes,
fun.
yes,
hmm
yes. All the
We
different
having fun.
holidays,
We're making money. Yeah,
like it's so many different distractions. Yeah, but
yeah.
I like I said, I could go on and on and
They've-
on.
Absolutely. By the way, speaking of that, what you were saying there, where it's like so many distractions, I think one of the things that needs to happen, and we can, we should probably wrap it up
Yeah,
after this
yeah,
because we can
yeah.
go on forever and ever. Okay, but I think one thing in that,
Too
actually,
much
on this,
intellect.
I know we gotta do this more often. I really
Yes,
Yes.
we
enjoyed
do.
this.
I'm,
This was
I'm
incredible.
down. Trust me. I
Yeah.
listen. I can even come to the studio. I can come there. So
Oh, stop.
Come on now, let's
Pop
do
some
this.
champagne.
We are here.
yeah,
Let's
Jump
do it.
into the studio.
Incredible,
studio.
right? I'm over it. Yeah, but no, definitely, I'm totally with it because I think the more we create this content and put it out there,
Yep.
the better. Because really, what we're trying to do here is really transform the way people think about something that has been instilled in them for years and years
Mm.
and years.
Exactly.
And like you're saying there, most people it's happening in America already, and most people do not see it. But I
Mhm.
think that we also have to consider that they cannot see it because they have never lived through this before,
Yeah,
right?
very
Say for
true.
someone like me, where I came to this country, I don't know, I was maybe like 14, 15, somewhere there.
Uh-huh.
I have experience, I have
Yeah.
tasted some of what it is like when you're in a barren economy
Yes.
where there is no progress, right? Stagnation or whatever they want to call it. I know they have many fancy words for these things these days, but where the economy is not thriving, I know
Right.
what that looks like. I've experienced a vibe from that. So I would say that there's been multiple times in this country where something happened. You know how sometimes in your adulthood you might smell something or see something that
It
Yeah.
strikes
sends
a
you back that
memory
childhood
back to where
memory.
your childhood
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I have had multiple moments of that already here where certain things happen and the United States responded to in a certain way, or some things that are happening in the country right now,
Like how
right?
the banks kicked us out
Like
because
the
we wanted to host a
bro,
Bitcoin
whether
account.
is the banks
Right.
kicking us out, the unemployment rate that
Yeah.
they're totally faking the numbers for,
Inflation
right?
numbers.
And the fact that they're continuously businesses and banks shutting down every day. These are not
Yeah.
indicators of growth. Okay.
Hmm.
So something bad is coming. Something um, economically horrible
Look at you instilling
is
more
coming.
fear, man. They're already scared.
Hmm?
It's scared,
Listen,
man. You can't make it more scared.
it is fear that got them to this point. It might be fear that will take them back out of this point.
Look at them
Okay.
animal sauce.
Yes. I want to fear
Put
you.
more salt on it, make it pepper more.
Yes. Hey, I think that the traditional system people have proven to us that this is a strategy that works.
Yeah,
You
true.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm just throwing back the strategy to them. The same thing, right?
She's having connection
Incredible.
problems.
Oh wait, I think Tima might be frozen there.
Yeah, she might have a
Okay,
call coming in or something.
possibly. Okay, well, but we're going to
We'll talk about the website
yes, we're going to
and
go ahead and wrap this up here. We'll talk about the website. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet,
ladies and gentlemen.
unfortunately, Tima is frozen. I'm hoping that she's going to be back. Okay.
Hmm.
But if she is not back, Double O, take it away.
Yes. So here we have jumping into the Jump Out Girls website.
Hmm.
Wonderful cousins,
Absolutely.
women working together. I like that green, by the way. And by
Absolutely.
the way, check them out. They have merch. You can get out their nice, check out their nice merch on their website.
Ah, look at that. We have Tina is back with us. But carry on, then
Yep,
we'll
they
continue.
have some nice merch on their website.
Right.
And they talk to you about how you can exit out of the
Yeah,
fear mongering,
absolutely.
and jump into the Bitcoin
Into
world.
the Bitcoin mongering.
So definitely go out there, buy their materials, support your fellow women,
Yes.
jump into the world of Bitcoin.
Incredible.
And of course, you can follow them on X,
Let me find that
on
page. There we
on of
go.
course our worst nightmare,
What is that?
l-
YouTube?
YouTube and Instagram,
YouTube and Instagram, yeah.
Facebook and YouTube are coming at us, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, follow them at JumpOutGirls.
Incredible. There we go.
Yep.
I had to use the horn. Tima, I think we lost you there for a second. But oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute. Too much intellect, man. They just have to kick you out.
They're tracking us. Wait, I think you're still on mute there.
Yeah,
But,
but you're still on mute. We can hear you though.
no,
Yeah,
she's looking for that mute button.
still on mute. Still on mute.
Which one is that?
Yeah, 1 second.
Okay. One second.
Yeah.
She's getting headphones. It's probably connected to Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's possible that we might cut out this part of the video, but we don't know yet.
Yep.
But if we don't cut it out,
It's fine. It's all natural.
skip away, man. Listen, I mean, it is what
Fast
it is. Man.
forward it.
Yes, you're looking at real
But like the
life.
fiat system,
Okay.
just shift it.
Absolutely. Well, as we wait on Tima to come back, okay, obviously, please do check out their website, follow them on X, okay. You can also head over to stackfin.com where we have our Bitcoin introductory courses over there if you're trying to
Overcome your
fast-track-
fears.
Yes, overcome your fear and I was going to say overcome your fears and laziness, but let me relax.
It is. You could overcome your laziness.
You sure can.
Yeah.
You sure can.
for a
Okay.
good 15 minute session.
Yeah,
That's not a lot.
this is
You
true.
can overcome that.
This is true. It's all about catching
And
the
it's free.
yeah.
15 minutes.
It's all about catching the inspiration for it, right? And getting
Hmm.
in there. So yes, absolutely. You can head over here. Free 15-minute session. We'll
Hmm.
get on. We'll talk to you about it. Give you more details about the course. We also have a trading course led by Double Up.
Yes, sir.
Very powerful course. Gives you the information you need to navigate this investing and trading space.
But don't
Okay.
trade Bitcoin.
Yes, don't trade Bitcoin. If you trade Bitcoin, when you sell it, I'm buying it. You know what I mean? That's the main thing that you need to understand there.
Yep.
Oh wait, do we have Tima back?
Tima is back.
Yes, we do. Okay, and of course, our friends over at BK Crypto as well. Be sure to check out that website as well. This is where you can set up your 15-minute introductory call, whether it's for crypto coaching,
Mhm.
Bitcoin consulting, and
And
of course,
some people have been so feared mongered to
yeah,
the point that their lives, their financial, their soul
yeah,
has been destroyed. We have RB for that
absolutely.
over at the BK Crypto.
With the financial soul healing.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
They say the best scam is the one that you don't even know is happening.
Hmm.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's where we are living.
Yep.
All
Hey,
right.
you know
Well,
what? We were talking too much good sauce that my every died. Everything from my laptop to my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
oh damn, they didn't hack her house. They didn't hack her house. Absolutely incredible. But listen, Tima, you're going to be having the last word here as we wrap this recording out. But there's a few things that for me personally,
Mhm.
I'm just a light summarization, if you
Mm.
will, but or just more so like some key points that I want to highlight from what we've spoken about here. Um, I think the first one is fear and laziness
Mm.
Mhm.
is keeping people from achieving the success that they envision in their life, whatever that looks like for you,
Mm.
right? It is very clear that it is the same thing that is stopping all of us, and it is money
Mm.
that is controlled and manipulated by a specific group,
The sister.
right? That is lying to all of us,
Hmm.
and many people do not understand it,
They don't even see it.
right?
No,
And
they don't
it
want to
is
see it.
fear and laziness that it is keeping people from jumping over that hump,
Jumping
right?
into it.
And I think the next thing I must learn is that, like I said, our generation is at the forefront of this Bitcoin economy revolution
Hmm.
here, and to know that there are mothers out there like yourself who are going to be
Leading the way.
leading, yes, teaching their kids about Bitcoin. Pretty much everyone was a parent out there, right? Our generation,
Hey, don't leave
right?
me out.
Parents who, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I say, parents. You know what I mean, because parents who are teaching their kids about Bitcoin, I think that these are going to be the people that are really shaping the future of society in a very powerful way.
Yeah,
Hmm.
You
yeah.
see? Yes, but then the bonus is that I'm not dating a chick who is not down with Bitcoin ever,
No,
and
that's
I
the way.
recommend everyone do the same.
I
Maybe I'll
think
tweet that.
I think me and Kenny need to have like kind of like a like a not a contest, but we need to evaluate to make sure that she's the Bitcoin mindset,
Hmm.
so
Mm.
we could present her to us first, okay? I think
Hmm.
Okay.
that's the way. All right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you
What
go. Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah.
helps,
Whoever
man?
I'm dating,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
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 Absolutely. Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
bring them to the Bitcoin parents and have them, like, who are you? Who is Satoshi? All that good stuff. Um,
We're gonna not judge them, but just ask a few
Interrogate.
questions.
Interrogation, man.
hey,
Yes,
Are
listen,
you
yes,
coming here for the money or are you
yes,
coming here for the knowledge?
right.
who
What do
grill
you think
them?
about freedom? What's your
Mm.
version of freedom?
Mm.
You know what is one of the things I like for y'all to ask them?
Mhm.
Ask them if what is what are their spending habits?
Yes,
Yeah. Do you
yes.
think that we should sell this Bitcoin to buy a Louis Vuitton?
Red bottoms.
Yes, your answer would determine. Your
That's
answer
key.
would determine.
That's key.
You- right? And if she says yes,
Gang, gang.
And his name is John C.
We hit them with one of those. Wait, actually, I don't think you already heard that. But yeah, if she says yes, this is what we give her. And his
Yeah.
name is John C. Oh, incredible. Well, Tima, over to you. Let the
Closing
people know
words.
closing word.
Yeah. First of all, thank you guys. This was absolutely great. This was so much fun. I had a great time. Thank you guys. I love, I love your space, like I said before. I think that I want to leave on just is that people should continue to question everything. As we say in Bitcoin, trust but verify. But honestly, it should be don't trust and verify, right?
Mm,
Because that's the problem now. We trust too much and we don't believe that something wrong or something bad is occurring. And we're not talking about fear here. We're just talking about critical thinking, being objective in your thought process, understanding that there's a change happening and there's
mhm,
a shift, and we're in the midst of that shift. And it's like, you always hear about people say, "Oh, I wish I would have known about this," or, "I heard about something like this." Well, it's just like, this is your chance now. It doesn't matter where you're from, it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter what your background is. It's for all. And that's the key thing too. Bitcoin is for all. It's not just for a certain group of people anymore, right? Just do
mhm.
your own research, continue to study, continue to grow, and continue to think for yourself.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave it there. Tima, please stand by. Don't go
Okay.
yet. We're
I
going
won't
to wrap it up. And
worry.
man, what a powerful conversation. We are looking forward for sure for when
Big things ahead,
yes, when
basically.
we all gather again, right?
Big things
Hopefully we'll have
popping.
the whole squad together
Yep.
and let's keep pushing it. Okay.
All right.
Yes,
Double
sir.
anything else? I think we've covered everything now.
I can't over talk what Tim just said, but I would like to finish this
Not Bitcoin related. I mean more like any sort of things that we want to point out people for us maybe looking for us or anything like that.
yes. Follow.
Oh, yeah. On oh
Follow,
sorry, on X. We're
follow,
on X. Yeah.
follow us on X.
Mhm.
Follow the Jump Out Girls so that you can get more of this juicy stuff.
Mhm.
Next time, man, they're gonna come after us, but we'll be prepared.
Absolutely. Our buttons are not working. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an incredible one. Until next time. Okay. Brazen out.
Double O.
Hey.